The map burned in Jack's pocket like a secret too heavy to keep. Every rustle of the wind through the dead trees sounded like a whisper. They're coming. And the deeper they trudged into the cursed woods, the more the air itself seemed to choke on its silence. Blackthorn Keep loomed ahead, its broken towers clawing at the storm-racked sky, and Eli's usual jokes had long since dried up. Somewhere in that ruin lay answers, or a death just waiting to be claimed. But turning back, that ship had sailed the moment they'd crossed paths with a stranger who bled black and spoke in riddles. Now, with unseen eyes tracking their every step, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the real danger wasn't the monsters in the dark, but whatever had made them. Please wait. Before we start, tap that iCard button in the top right corner and smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the notification bell so you're first in line when new stories land. All right, let's dive into the story. Chapter 1. The sky tore open at 3:17 a.m. with a sound like shattering glass. Denver's night vanished as an eerie blue light pulsed across the city, casting sharp shadows that made firefighter Javier Morales drop his coffee cup. The ceramic shattered as he stared upward. Madre de Dios, that ain't no meteor. At NORAD's Cheyenne Mountain Complex, alarms screamed to life. General Rebecca Shaw burst into the control room, her boots clicking against the polished floor. At 48, she moved with the precision of someone half her age, her silver-streaked black hair pulled into a tight bun. Somebody tell me that's a goddamn drill. Dr. Nathan Carter, NASA's lead exobiologist, didn't look up from his monitors. His fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up thermal scans. Negative, General. That's a spacecraft, and it's in trouble. The image clarified, a sleek, oblong vessel with what appeared to be black tendrils of smoke leaking from multiple ruptures. Rebecca leaned over his shoulder, her jasmine perfume cutting through the room's stale air. Since when do invading aliens show up leaking fluids like a '78 Chevy? The radio crackled before Nathan could respond. A voice like liquid metal poured from the speakers. We require immediate assistance. Please respond. The words carried an odd musical quality, as if spoken through water. Nathan's head snapped up. They're asking for help. Across the room, Lieutenant Connor Mitchell choked on his energy drink. Hold up. They crossed light years to use our AAA. Rebecca silenced him with a glare. Patch me through. She grabbed the mic, her voice steady but edged with steel. Unidentified vessel. This is General Shaw of Earth Defense. State your intentions. The pause stretched. Then, atmospheric entry caused critical damage. We cannot maintain orbit. The alien voice wavered strangely, requesting emergency landing coordinates. Nathan's monitor flashed red. They're not lying. Their trajectory's going unstable. If I don't set down in... He did quick calculations. 8 minutes, they'll pancake across downtown Denver. Rebecca's jaw tightened. Mitchell, clear a path to the old Air Force strip. Carter, you're with me. She grabbed her sidearm, then hesitated. And somebody get Dr. Malhotra up here. If these ETs are bleeding, I want our best xenobiologist on hand. Nathan followed her toward the elevator, his mind racing. You realize this could be a trick? Classic Trojan horse scenario. Rebecca punched the down button. You got a better idea? Let them crash and risk whatever's in that hull contaminating half of Colorado. The elevator doors opened to reveal Dr. Priya Malhotra already waiting, her medical kit in hand. At 39, she moved with the calm precision of someone who'd survived Mumbai's worst trauma wards. Her we have patience. Her dark eyes flicked to Nathan. Assuming they even have blood? Nathan swallowed hard as the elevator descended. Only one way to find out. Outside, the alien ship's pulsing glow painted the parking lot in surreal blues. Connor's voice crackled over Rebecca's earpiece. General, Pentagon's online too. They're ordering a missile strike. Rebecca didn't break stride. Tell them to hold their damn fire. We're about to make first contact with a species that says, please. She yanked open the Humvee door. Now let's go see if these bastards are telling the truth. As they sped toward the landing site, the damaged ship's shadow loomed over Denver like a fractured moon. Nathan realized his hands were shaking. Not from fear, from the terrifying possibility that after centuries of wondering if we were alone in the universe, humanity's first encounter with aliens might begin with the most human question of all. Can you help me? Chapter 2. The morning sun filtered through the dusty windows of the old tavern, casting long shadows across the worn wooden floor. Jack stirred awake, his muscles aching from the previous night's brawl. He groaned, rubbing his temples as the memories flooded back. The stranger's cryptic warning, the sudden attack, and the mysterious map, now tucked safely inside his coat. Across the room, Eli yawned loudly, stretching his arms with a grin. Well, look who's finally decided to join the living. You sleep like a bear in winter, you know that. Jack shot him a glare. Maybe if someone hadn't insisted on one more drink, I wouldn't feel like I've been trampled by a herd of horses. Eli chuckled, tossing a crust of bread at him. Oh, come on. Where's your sense of adventure? Besides, we've got bigger problems than your delicate constitution. He leaned in, lowering his voice. That map you've got? Half the town's probably heard about it by now. Jack's hand instinctively went to his coat, fingers brushing against the parchment. Great. Just what we need. More attention. The tavern door creaked open, and a hush fell over the room. A tall figure stepped inside, his cloak dripping with rain. The man's eyes scanned the crowd before locking onto Jack. You, he said, his voice like gravel. You're the one they're talking about. Eli raised an eyebrow. And who's asking? The stranger ignored him, stepping closer. That map doesn't belong to you. Hand it over, and maybe you'll live to see another sunrise. Jack smirked, though his heart pounded. Funny, I don't recall taking orders from someone who smells like a wet dog. The man's hand went to his sword, but Eli was faster, flipping a dagger into his palm with a flourish. Let's not do anything we'll regret, unless you're itching for a fight. The stranger hesitated, then scoffed. This isn't over. With that, he turned on his heel and stormed out, the door slamming behind him. Ili Vistlet. Charming fellow. You sure know how to make friends. Jack sighed, rubbing his temples again. We need to get out of here. If he's found us, others will too. Eli nodded, stuffing the last of his bread into his mouth. Agreed. But where to? That map's about as clear as mud. Jack unfolded the parchment, studying the faded ink. There's a name here, Blackthorn Keep. Ever heard of it? Ilias Green Vadith. Yeah, and you're not gonna like it. Place is cursed, or so they say. No one who goes and ever comes out. Jack folded the map, a determined glint in his eye. Then I guess we'll be the first. Ili Kroneth. Why do I get the feeling I'm going to regret this? Outside, the rain began to fall harder, the wind howling through the narrow streets. Somewhere in the distance, a bell tolled. A warning, or perhaps an omen. The two men exchanged a glance, then stepped out into the storm, the weight of their decision hanging heavy in the air. The game was on, and there was no turning back now. Chapter 3. The muddy road to Blackthorn Keep stretched endlessly ahead, the rain turning the path into a slippery mess. Jack pulled his cloak tighter, his boots sinking into the muck with every step. Beside him, Eli muttered curses under his breath, his usual grin replaced by a scowl. Remind me again why we're trekking through this god's-forsaken swamp. Eli grumbled, shaking water from his sleeve. Jack shot him a sideways glance. Because you're the one who said adventure sounded like a grand idea back at the tavern. Yeah, well, adventure's supposed to involve gold and glory, not drowning in mud and dodging lunatics with swords. A low growl rumbled from the trees ahead. Both men froze, hands drifting toward their weapons. The underbrush rustled, and a pair of glowing yellow eyes peered out from the shadows. Please tell me that's just a really big dog, Eli whispered. Before Jack could answer, a massive wolf-like creature lunged from the bushes, saliva dripping from its fangs. Eli yelped, barely dodging as Jack drew his sword in one swift motion. Not a dog, Jack shouted, slashing at the beast. The creature snarled, circling them with unnatural speed. Eli flipped a dagger in his hand, grinning despite the danger. All right, ugly. Let's dance. The fight was brutal. Claws against steel, snarls against curses. Jack's blade found its mark, slicing deep into the beast's flank, while Eli's dagger lodged itself in its eye. With a final, pitiful whine, the creature collapsed. Panting, Eli wiped his blade on his pants. Well, that was unexpected. Jack knelt beside the beast, examining its matted fur. This isn't natural. Look at its teeth. They're blackened, like it's been cursed. Eli mulderet. You think Blackthorn keeps got something to do with this? Wouldn't surprise me. Jack stood, scanning the darkening woods. We should keep moving. If there are more of these things, I'd rather not be here when they show up. Eli nudged the dead creature with his boot. Yeah, no argument here. As they pressed on, the trees grew thicker, their gnarled branches twisting like skeletal fingers. A faint, eerie glow pulsed in the distance. Blackthorn Keep, its jagged towers piercing the stormy sky. Eli whistled low. Cheery place. Really gives off that welcome, stay-a-while vibe. Jack ignored the sarcasm, his grip tightening on his sword. Stay sharp. If the stories are true, this is just the beginning. A sudden crack of thunder split the air, and the gates of the keep groaned open, as if inviting them in. Eli swallowed hard. You know, I'm starting to think one last drink wasn't such a bad idea after all. Jack took a deep breath and stepped forward. Too late now. The wind howled around them as they crossed the threshold, the heavy gates slamming shut behind them with a final, ominous thud. Chapter 4. The alien medical bay hummed with an eerie bioluminescent glow as Priya adjusted the strange, gelatinous bandages on Veritha's arm. The alien captain's translucent skin revealed blackened veins pulsing beneath the surface, like ink spreading through water. Your techniques are unexpectedly effective, Verith rasped, his voice like wind through reeds. Priya didn't look up from her work. You're lucky I did my residency in a Mumbai slum clinic. When you've treated infections from open sewers and rusted metal, alien plasma burns aren't that different. Across the room, Nathan scrolled through data on a holographic display, his glasses reflecting the shifting alien script. This sabotage was thorough. Every critical system was targeted. Life support, navigation, even your comms. Someone really didn't want you reaching Earth. Veritha's large, opalescent eyes darkened. The High Chancellor's faction, they believe your world is a contamination. Rebecca, who had been silently observing from the doorway, crossed her arms. Contamination? Your species is unpredictable, violent, compassionate. You defy categorization. Verith winced as Priya applied another dressing. They fear what they cannot control. Connor, leaning against the wall with his ever-present smirk, snorted. So let me get this straight. Your government sent you to wipe us out, and you guys said nah, and mutinied instead? An oversimplification, but accurate. Priya tied off the last bandage and stepped back. There, that should stabilize you for now. But whatever toxin they used is still in your system. I need better equipment to synthesize an antidote. Nathan tapped his tablet. We can get you whatever you need from the CDC. But first, we need to understand what we're dealing with. He turned to Verith. You said your people are divided. How many are on your side? Veritha's fingers twitched, the tips glowing faintly. 3 battle groups, perhaps 30% of the fleet. The rest remain loyal to the High Chancellor. Rebecca's jaw tightened. So we're looking at a civil war in space, and Earth is caught in the middle. Worse, Veritha's voice dropped to a whisper. They know we came here. They will follow. A tense silence settled over the room. Connor broke it with a low whistle. Well, that's just fantastic. Nathan adjusted his glasses, his mind racing. Then we need to prepare. If they're coming, we can't just sit here waiting. Priya wiped her hands on a cloth, her expression grim. First, we need to keep Veritha's crew alive. Second, we need to figure out how to fight back. Rebecca pushed off the doorway, her boots clicking against the alien floor. Then let's get to work. Connor, alert NORAD. I want every defense grid on standby. Nathan, coordinate with Veritha's engineers. See if we can adapt any of their tech for our use. Connor raised an eyebrow. And what are you going to do, General? Rebecca's smile was razor thin. I'm going to have a very uncomfortable conversation with the president. As the group dispersed, Nathan lingered, studying Verith. Why did you really rebel? You could have followed orders. Wiped us out. Saved yourself the trouble. Veritha's glowing eyes met his. Because we have watched your world for centuries. We saw your wars, your cruelty, but also your resilience. Your capacity to change. He tilted his head. You are flawed, but you are worth saving. Nathan exhaled slowly. Let's hope the rest of the galaxy agrees. Outside the ship, the first streaks of dawn painted the sky, a reminder that time was running out. Somewhere out there, loyalist ships were already on their way. And when they arrived, humanity would have to prove it was more than just a contamination. It would have to prove it was worth fighting for. Chapter 5. The war room at NORAD buzzed with frantic energy as Rebecca stormed in, tossing a tablet onto the central console. Status report. Now, Colonel Harris, his uniform wrinkled from 3 sleepless nights, straightened immediately. Ma'am, we've got multiple unidentified contacts entering the solar system. They'll be in Earth's orbit in less than 6 hours. Nathan adjusted his glasses, squinting at the holographic display. 3 capital ships, and is that a planetary assault carrier? Veritha's holographic projection flickered to life, his alien features drawn tight. The High Chancellor's Vanguard. They will not negotiate. Connor whistled low, spinning a pen between his fingers. Well, this just went from bad to we're all gonna die real quick. Priya slammed her medical kit onto the table, making everyone jump. Then we'd better make sure that doesn't happen. Verith, how's your crew's condition? Stable, but not combat ready. The toxin's still. A sudden alarm cut him off. Red lights flashed as a technician shouted, General, we're receiving a transmission from the lead ship. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a creature that made even Rebecca take an involuntary step back. The High Chancellor's obsidian skin absorbed light rather than reflected it, his elongated face framed by writhing tendrils that pulsed with venomous green veins. Earthlings, the voice scraped like metal on bone. You harbor traitors. Deliver them or share their fate. Rebecca didn't blink. This is General Shaw of Earth Defense. You're in our solar system without permission. Stand down immediately. The alien's laugh sounded like breaking glass. Permission? We are the Ascendancy. We take what we... Nathan suddenly leaned forward. Wait, are those scorch marks on your hull? He zoomed the display. General, look, their ships are damaged. Connor's eyes widened. Holy shit, they've already been in a fight. Veritha's projection brightened. The rebellion. They must have engaged them en route. Priya grabbed Nathan's arm. That buys us time. If we can patch up Veritha's ship enough to get their weapons online. Rebecca was already moving. Eris, scramble every fighter we've got. Connor, get to the hangar and prep our experimental plasma batteries. Nathan, work with Veritha's engineers. See if we can jury-rig some of their tech onto our defenses. As the room erupted into action, Veritha's voice cut through the chaos. General, there's another option. Everyone froze. The alien captain's form shimmered as he projected a schematic, an enormous energy weapon. The quantum resonance cannon. My ship's primary armament. Damaged, but perhaps reparable. Nathan's breath caught. That could actually work. Priya frowned. At what cost? Your crew's barely stable as is. Some causes are worth dying for. Veritha's glowing eyes met Rebecca's. Is yours. The general held his gaze for a long moment before turning to the others. You heard the captain. Let's get to work. And somebody get me the president. He's not going to like what I'm about to tell him. As technicians and soldiers rushed in every direction, Connor leaned over to Nathan. You realize we're basically duct taping together a planet's worth of hope, right? Nathan adjusted his glasses, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Humanity's greatest invention, Connor. Duct tape and desperation. Outside, the first streaks of dawn painted the Colorado sky. A beautiful morning for what might be their last day alive. Somewhere beyond that blue horizon, death approached at faster-than-light speeds. And all that stood between Earth and annihilation was a damaged alien ship, a handful of brilliant minds, and the stubborn refusal of one species to go quietly into the night. Chapter 6. The hangar bay of Veritha's ship had become a frenzied war room. human and alien engineers shouting over each other in a chaotic symphony of desperation. Nathan wiped sweat from his brow, his fingers dancing across a hybrid control panel they jury-rigged from alien crystal tech and human circuitry. Okay, try it now. The quantum resonance cannon hummed to life for exactly 3 seconds before sputtering out with a shower of sparks. A young engineer yelped as she dodged the spray. Connor coughed through the smoke. Well, that was almost successful. If by successful you mean almost killed us all. Priya stormed through the haze, medical scanner in hand. Veritha's vitals are dropping. Every time we power up the cannon, it's draining what little strength his crew has left. Rebecca slammed her fist against the console. We're running out of time. Harris, what's our window? The colonel's voice crackled over comms. 2 hours, General. And we've got another problem. Their assault carrier just launched drop pods. Estimated impact in, 12 minutes across 3 continents. Nathan's head snapped up. They're not waiting to talk this time. They're going for full occupation. Veritha's weakened voice came through the speakers. The cannon requires a living interface. My engineer, she can know. Priya cut him off. She's barely conscious. Another power surge could stop her hearts completely. A tense silence fell. Then Rebecca straightened, her face hardening with realization. Not necessarily a living alien interface. She turned to Nathan. Your Neuralink research. Could it work? Nathan's mouth went dry. Theoretically, maybe, but we've only tested it on lab rats. And half of those ended up comatose or dead. Yeah, I remember. Connor finished grimly. But what choice do we have? The ground suddenly trembled as the first distant explosions rumbled across Denver. Red emergency lights flashed as the base's automated defenses activated. Priya grabbed Nathan's arm. If we do this, I'm linking your vitals to my monitor. At the first sign of neural distress, I'm pulling you out. Nathan gave a shaky nod, already removing his glasses. Guess this is why they pay me the big bucks. As technicians rushed to prep the neural interface, Veritha's projection appeared beside Nathan. Your courage honors your species. Nathan chuckled nervously as they lowered the crystalline headset onto him. Tell me that after I don't turn into a vegetable. The moment the connection engaged, the world exploded behind Nathan's eyes. Visions of alien star systems, incomprehensible mathematics, and the searing pain of the cannon's power flow nearly made him black out. Distantly, he heard Priya shouting. His brainwaves are spiking. Nathan, can you hear me? Through gritted teeth, he managed, loud and clear. The cannon hummed to life again, this time holding steady. Alarms blared as the targeting system locked onto the approaching fleet. Connor hooped. Hell yes. Now let's show these bastards what happens when you mess with. The entire ship suddenly lurched violently. Harris's panicked voice came through. They've hit us with some kind of pulse weapon. Shields at 20%. Rebecca grabbed the comm. All units, defensive positions. Nathan, whatever you're going to do it now. Nathan screamed as he forced the connection deeper, his nose bleeding profusely. The cannon's power built to a crescendo, its energy signature visible even through the ship's hull. Priya watched her monitors in horror. He can't sustain this much longer. With one final, agonizing push, Nathan triggered the weapon. A beam of pure blue energy lanced upward, striking the lead enemy ship dead center. The resulting explosion lit up the daytime sky like a second sun. As the shockwave rattled the hangar, Nathan collapsed, the headset shattering off him. Priya caught him just before he hit the ground, her scanner already beeping frantically. Veritha's voice rang out with something like awe. Direct hit. The remaining ships, they're retreating. Cheers erupted through the comm channels, but Rebecca's attention was solely on Nathan's unconscious form. Priya looked up, her face grim. He's alive, but his neural patterns, they're like nothing I've ever seen. Outside, the sky burned with the wreckage of their victory. But as the first reports of worldwide drop pod impacts came in, it was clear the battle might be won, but the war was just beginning. and humanity's fate now rested in the hands of one unconscious scientist and the secrets his overloaded brain might now contain. Chapter 7. Nathan's eyes flew open with a gasp, his body arching off the medical cot as if jolted by electricity. The sterile white lights of the infirmary blinded him momentarily, his pulse roaring in his ears. Priya's face swam into view, her dark eyes wide with shock as she grabbed his shoulders. "Easy, you've been out for 3 days." Nathan's throat burned as he tried to speak, his voice a raw scrape. The cannon, the fleet, Connor's grinning face appeared over Priya's shoulder. "Oh, you mean how you blew up the lead battleship like it was the Death Star? Yeah, that was awesome." Rebecca pushed through the medical staff, crowding the room. Her usual crisp uniform wrinkled from days without sleep. "Welcome back, Carter. You just became Earth's most valuable asset." Nathan blinked, his mind still swimming with fragmented alien memories. "What?" Priya held up a neural scan, her hands trembling slightly. "Your brain activity, it's changed. The neural link didn't just connect you to the cannon. It left something behind." Veritha's hologram flickered to life at the foot of the bed, his form more solid than before. "You carry ascendancy knowledge now. Schematics, military codes, even..." He hesitated. "The location of the High Chancellor's secret stronghold." Nathan's breath caught. The visions flooding his mind suddenly snapped into focus. Star charts, defense grids, and one heavily fortified planetoid at the edge of known space. "Oh my God!" Rebecca crossed her arms. "Exactly. The president wants you debriefed immediately. We're talking full planetary defense strategy based on what's in your head." Connor plopped into a chair beside the bed. "Also, minor detail, you're kind of famous now. They're calling you the human interface on the news feeds." Nathan groaned, rubbing his temples. "I just wanted to study alien microbes." Priya injected something into his fore, her voice softening. "Well, now you get to help end an interstellar war instead." The door burst open as Colonel Harris rushed in, his face flushed. "General, we've got incoming, but it's not the ascendancy." Rebecca's hand went to her sidearm. "Then who?" Veritha's projection brightened suddenly. "The rebellion, they've come." The infirmary screens flickered to life, showing hundreds of ships dropping out of warp around Earth, sleek, silver vessels marked with the same insignia as Veritha's mutiny faction. A new alien voice, rich and warm, echoed through the comms. "People of Earth, we bring tidings from the free ascendancy. Your courage has ignited the galaxy." Nathan struggled to sit up, his mind reeling. "They're surrendering?" Verith made a sound like chiming bells, his species' laughter. "No, Dr. Carter. They're joining you." Rebecca's communicator buzzed with the president's direct line. She answered tersely, then froze. When she turned back, even the unflappable general looked stunned. "They're offering Earth a seat on the Galactic Council. Full membership. Equal standing." The room fell silent. Outside the window, the alien armada glittered against the blackness of space like a sea of stars. Connor broke the silence first. "So, does this mean we get cool spaceships now?" Priya rolled her eyes, but Nathan caught the smile she tried to hide. Rebecca just shook her head, holstering her sidearm with finality. "Better. It means we get a say in what happens next." As the first golden rays of dawn crept through the windows, Nathan realized something profound. The day humanity became undisputed champions of the galaxy hadn't been marked by some grand battle or brilliant strategy. It had been the day they proved the most powerful force in the universe wasn't weapons or technology. It was the willingness to stand together, no matter who or what came knocking. And that was the end of the story. Comment below if you want the next chapter, and hit that like button. Please subscribe, turn on the bell, and as always, keep the last light burning.